Live from Atlanta, Georgia, it's the Zach Ballinger Show, where we help you find your direction through passion and purpose. My name is Zach Ballinger. I am your host. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We really do have a special guest. Really excited to have him with us. Erik Anderson, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to chat with you today. First podcast.
Awesome. So, I'm so glad that you're making an appearance. And just for the audience, we're going to ask Erik some questions about his career and his passion behind it. We'll get into more long format questions, and you guys will have the opportunity, if you're out there, to submit some questions. We did have one come in a couple of days ago, and we'll let Erik answer that. So, Erik, what is your occupation and your title?
My title is just a personal trainer. It is I'm more just like I've been involved in fitness for ever since like the beginning of, I guess, high school. So 7 years or so. And I've always been interested in how people make money through there, whether it's through Instagram, YouTube, selling training programs. And I first started off meeting this bodybuilder in Austria and helping him kind of boost his career. And then from there, I was like the social media guy for him. And I ended up moving to New York. And in New York, I was going to just keep building his career. And then he introduced me to another bodybuilder who was a trainer at Equinox Sports Club, one of the top Equinox clubs in New York City. So then I started out as a trainer there. And then now I'm in LA doing training as well.
It's awesome. And so what do you like most about your job? You know, when I talked to you before, you can tell you're really passionate about it. What do you love most about it?
For me, it's really fulfilling. I think being able to get someone results and seeing them build their self-confidence is the best part. And the other day I was struggling because there's a lot of fires going on here. I was like, I might just like cancel the rest of the day because I have really bad asthma and my eyes were burning. And I have my gym here in the garage. I have like 2 air purifiers, but I was like, I can't let everybody down because it's really people's best part of their day. We get to work out, hang out, chat. It's almost like a therapy session for my clients. So it's so nice to be able to spend that hour with them and know that when they're leaving, that like they got a lot off their chest, they got a great workout in, and now they're going to win the day.
That's awesome. And on the flip side, this might be a little bit of a tough question, but you know, what do you like least about
it? I think a lot of people think that personal training, and especially my job, and I'm so grateful to have the clients I do. I have like the best clients in the world, and people just see on Instagram, oh, he trains this person. But sometimes they don't realize how much energy that I guess it's very exhausting. Like I've worked in construction. I've done those like blue collar jobs. I've worked behind a desk and stuff, but personal training, like people are putting it's like a therapy session. So you're absorbing a lot of energy that people are putting onto you. And after like 10 sessions in a day and you're on your feet, like it can be really exhausting. And I think like the burnout for trainers is pretty high. A lot of trainers burn out quick doing it and they think, it'll be a lot easier, but it's not. It's really a grind. But I love doing it. I wouldn't tripping up on words. I wouldn't want to do anything else.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, you know, just talking about, you kind of explained it, but let's say somebody's out there and they want to get in this field. What does a typical day look like for you?
Right now, and I guess I feel like a pillar in personal training is always like my first time in New York, I got a client. Like you have to hustle hard to get a client. It's hard to get clients. So I finally got this client and he's like, let's do our session at 5:30 a.m. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. And then my alarm, like I slept through the alarm and then I had all these missed calls and it was like 5:45 when I woke up and I was like, shit, I'm going to be a failure. Sorry, I'm going to be a failure for my entire career. And it just saw myself not being successful and that scared the crap out of me. So now every day I wake up at 4:45 a.m., get my workout in, get everything organized. And then I have about 8 to 9 clients a day. So I finish somewhere around like 5 or 6 p.m., have a break at like 1 p.m. and it's just back to back. And I have the gym set up to my garage here. So people just pull their car right there in the alleyway and then we get the workout in and they're all back to back.
That's so awesome. And then, you know, kind of going back to when you were growing up, did you ever have a dream career that you always wanted to be? Or, it doesn't have to be personal training, but anything you remember?
Yeah, it's funny you asked that question because my brother, we were little kids and we watched all these crazy action movies and like with superheroes and yada yada. And I remember I'd ask him, I'm like, if you could do anything, what would you want to do? And we would talk about it for a long time. And he'd be like, I think it'd be like a personal trainer for, we were watching like Wolverine, like Hugh Jackman was jacked. And we're like, I think that'd be the best job ever, to be a personal trainer for these actors and like superheroes and stuff like that. And yeah, it's kind of always been a dream of mine. And then it's crazy how it all comes into fruition. I think really the law of attraction has come to play.
When I've talked to you, you've always kind of had the vision of the fitness side of it as well as the training. And I think it takes someone, you talk about the difficulties of coaching, like, well, how do you keep people motivated? So, that's probably the biggest thing. I'm sure you have to, people are coming to you. You have to not only train them how to work out, but you have to keep their motivation. And so what is your philosophy? How do you do that?
That is it is a struggle to keep people's motivated. But I've been like very grateful to have people that are pretty motivated coming in, and like we set up goals and guidelines, and I check in with people every 2 weeks and we take measurements to see whether we're on track or not on track. And if we're going the wrong way, then we'll adjust. And hopefully, because people tend to like start losing motivation when they're not seeing results. So you kind of have to adjust a lot. And then another thing too is just like to stay. I feel like I have to motivate people myself in terms of the way that I work out, whether it's showing it on social media or telling them about or like me waking up earlier and crushing my workout, and then I'm able to motivate them. Because I feel like if I have to be super motivated in my day while I'm training them in order to give them motivation. Whereas if I don't train before everybody else trains, then I'm kind of like lacklustered in the mind, not ready to go.
That makes sense. And, for you and your clients out there, I think another big part of what you do is so cool is, you're kind of an influencer as well as on Instagram. And what I mean by that is, you keep people motivated, and it's a great way where you post workouts you can do for different body groups. I think the content you produce is very good because it's free tips on what to do. Plus it helps keep us motivated. I know for me, the biggest thing of my problem is the diet thing. If I could just change that, I think I could change a lot of things, but I'm sure a lot of people struggle with the food they eat. And so just some advice out there for somebody that might be wanting to consider going the personal training route. What kind of things do they need to know first before going into it?
So if somebody would like to become a personal trainer, I would say like the thing that helped me the most becoming a personal trainer was having a mentor and finding someone that you respect and they have like a bigger influence. Like I'm very grateful to be where I'm at today and have the followers I do. And it didn't really come easy. Like you have to work hard and post a lot of things. And for me, still the hardest part for the social media is putting my voice out there, because sometimes I worry about how I come across, or I don't know, it's just a fear of speaking in general. But I would say if you're trying to get into personal training, Bradley Martin was a huge mentor to me. He's big on social media, and he started out with the personal training route. Now he's strictly social media. I would just say start following the workouts that they provide online, whoever that mentor is, and model your business after them. Like I'm Rich Piana, he's RIP. He was a legend in like the fitness social media space, and he put out this video. It was about like personal training and kind of how to become a successful business, like how to create a successful business in personal training. And the video is amazing. It's about 10 minutes long, but he just speaks about like how to bring people into the business, and like whether it's pair up with a physical therapist or go to church so you meet some more people and like grow your network and stuff like that. But there's so much to learn, and there's a lot of access to free information, whether it's your podcast or YouTube videos on training. Like we're so grateful to be in this age where we have like this abundance of awesome information where we can take from, learn from. Yeah.
And, well, the audience doesn't know this, but when they think about personal trainers, I think some of them get a little nervous because, obviously they've been doing it for years. They're bigger guys, or, they're really in shape girls. And so I think for you, the way you've grown your business is you stuck to your personal brand. And what do I mean by that is that you've always been a real humble guy. I always remember that about you, your humbleness. And,
Thank you.
I think that people don't want to, I think that's why they go to somebody like you, because you don't have an ego. You're not judgmental on your clients. I mean, that's really how you built your client base in your brand, is through your humbleness. And so talk about how your personality really works for what you do in attracting clients to your business.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'm like the luckiest guy ever. Like it's very cool how like these people come into my life, and it's almost like, it's so crazy to me. Like I've always like thought about like training these types of people, whether it's like a celebrity or a social media star, or just like the average person who's looking to lose like 10 to 15 pounds or maybe 60 pounds. But I don't know. That's a great question. I just feel like giving back is really the answer. Whether like to get clients in the first place, like you have to go out and meet people. You have to give someone maybe like a tip on the gym floor, be like, hey, you should do this. Or if you notice a friend is struggling, be like, you need to work on it. Like go for a hike with that friend. And then in turn, they will like hire you as a personal trainer, which is so amazing. And that's kind of how I've built my brand. And then I guess recently it's just been a snowball effect, because once you start to, with Dog Pound, the gym that I was before, sorry if I'm going a tangent here, but we would switch off with clients. Clients would have a trainer team of like 3 to 4 trainers. And so the goals and everything would kind of get lost, because there'd be so many trainers per person. And it'd be hard to keep track because the gym was so busy, and we'd have like 10 clients a day. So now that I'm just doing it by myself, and I'm able to track every single workout, every cardio session, track their weight every 2 weeks. Now it's amazing because I can keep people on track. So when they see results, then it has a snowball effect, because then their friends are like, oh, you look amazing. So now it's, rather than being part of a big gym business, now it's just all coming to me here in my garage. It's all coming into fruition.
That's awesome. I think it's a great idea that you keep track of the progress, because, like you said, if you don't see yourself making progress, then the easiest thing to do is just quit, give up. So I think you've done a great job there. Let's talk about something else. When I talk to successful people, there's always adversity behind every story. Can you think back to a time that, you were doing this and something happened in your life, or something came along that hit you, and then you almost kind of questioned what you were doing? Can you talk about that adversity or something?
Yeah. I think the hardest part for me, which is like the biggest struggle for everyone and going for their goals, is the beginning, like telling people you're going to do this, and like say these crazy things, like, and then people just not believing in you, like the people closest to you not believing in you. And I studied economics and finance at Claremont McKenna College, and I was expected, like everyone who goes there, expected to take some finance role coming out or some tech job. And I had a few things lined up, and then I told everybody I was going to become this like celebrity trainer, fitness, social media. Nobody understood what I was talking about. And the people, everybody a lot of people in my life were like, look, like close to me as well. Like even my like first girlfriend back at the time, they're like, what are you doing? Like, this is so stupid. Like, you're not going to be successful. Like, no one could see the vision really. And I guess that is the hardest part, because then it's like, what are your parents telling like when other parents ask my parents, like, oh, what's Erik doing? And then everybody else is going into investment banking or wealth management and all that type of stuff. And they're guaranteed like to be successful, but I don't know if they're all happy at the end of the day. And then I'm just fortunate enough where it's all kind of come into fruition. But I would say in the beginning stages, it sucked. Like I was in New York City and I just had enough money to eat street food and like on the corner. I was grateful to have an apartment there in the very beginning. I just stayed at one of my friends while his like, lucky for that opportunity. But I was just basically on the couch surfing, and then was able to build up my client base from there. But in the beginning, it sucked, and then my parents would call and be like, "I just trained. I'm a celebrity trainer, yada yada." Just like talk it up, like I was doing all these things. So then at least it'd make them happy when it really I was just on like eating the street food, surviving. But it was good. Like that's the grind you need to go through in the beginning. And like I think I would watch those like Tony Robbins videos and then take ice cold showers every morning and be like, I'm not going to let the heat go up in the shower until I have like 2 clients. And then I just put myself through like some sort of, not torture, but just like make myself uncomfortable. So I would start to fight and be able to achieve my short-term goals in order to get to the big picture.
So awesome. First of all, when we talked in New York City, I remember when you were going through that and just, first starting out and building your base. It's always toughest to get started. But you could tell your passion back then was training and fitness. I mean, I don't think anybody that had met you or have met you in their lifetime would say otherwise. And for you to say, that the pressures around what society thinks that you should be, I think that's so true. I always tell this story when I was speaking at a college campus. I ran into a guy named Ben, and his parents had been doctors, and he came to me and he was talking to me and he said, I'm going to be a dentist when I grow up. And I said, well, why do you want to be a dentist? And he said, well, my parents want me to be a dentist, but I don't really want to be a dentist. And that hit me pretty hard. Yeah, it hit me pretty hard. And, luckily I was able to help him and intercept him at that time. And, while our parents do have our best interest in for us, I think sometimes, the easy route is to see the great careers behind us, but actually Ben is doing great in sales and real estate and it's become
amazing,
successful. So I think of you too, in that same example where, you first moved to New York, you're struggling to get clients. You're probably listening to all the headwinds that are in the back of you thinking, what have I done? But you keep pressing, and now you're in LA, correct?
Yeah, I'm in LA now. And I feel like one of the main drivers for me, especially in the beginning when everything sucked, was just like proving people wrong. Like that's one of the most motivating things, like proving people wrong that are close to you, that are like, oh, you're not going to like be like successful. And they're saying they're not saying like you're not going to be successful, but you can tell they're not thrilled. And one of the reasons is that they want to keep you, like, that's what they know. Like, that's the box that they came from. And they want you to stay in that same box of life with the safety and the protection. Like, they just don't want to see you, like, they just want you to be safe, really. They're just trying to protect you. But then you kind of have to get out of that box to find what you love and do you, which is, the hardest part.
I think too, you said something that you have to put the work into it. But, what I found, Erik, and I'm sure that you've talked to a lot of successful people, is that oftentimes money correlates with passion. And, not saying that everybody that's passionate about their job is a millionaire. But what I am saying is that what I'm talking to a lot of successful people, they have seemed to really enjoy and been passionate about their career, and that's the people that tend to make the most money. Now, their start is always difficult. You know, you would talk to several business owners that have been completely broke. They've lost everything, but they've rebounded on the other side, and they say, well, why are you successful? And he's like, I don't know, 10 years later, with all this hard work, I finally made it. And so, you know, I think you're a prime example of that. Now, so do you offer, what kind of training do you do? Just so, let's say somebody's listening to the show and maybe they're interested in booking a session. They're in the LA area. How do they get in touch with you?
Thank you for that first part. Still fighting towards all my goals, whether it's financially A, B, and C, D, but definitely it has grown throughout the time. It's starting off, you really don't make much when you're working for Equinox. But if you want to get in touch with me, you can go on just Instagram, find me at Erik Anderson, E-R-I-K, I'm Norwegian, 33. Send me a DM, or from there, you can send me an email as well. Another way, that's really the best way to get in touch with me. But awesome.
Go ahead.
No, that was all I have right there.
And then, you know, what else I was going to comment on too is that you know, when you think about personal trainers and bodybuilders, because you actually competed, right? You've competed.
Yes.
And so that's another neat fact for people to know. You've actually taken that, and that's extremely, extremely disciplined to compete, first of all. So congratulations on that. But second of all, like a lot of what bodybuilders and personal trainers do is they influence on social media. So if people don't know what that means, it means it's to gain followers. And what you've done is when I first met you, I remember, because you're way ahead of me on Instagram now, but I remember I was actually was beating you at one point. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. Of course, I only had 900 followers, and because you just started. And now I think you've grown that platform to almost 35,000, 34,000, something like that followers, just by being consistent on Instagram with your content. And you're posting things on there that, like I said, is motivating, is helping people. They see the results of your clients and they see the results that you're having. It really does help motivate others. And I think that's why a lot of professional speakers or motivational speakers follow athletes and they follow personal trainers, because for me, that's a motivating experience. I know how much hard work you put into your craft. So, so thank you for putting out that content. I think if you haven't, go follow Erik Anderson 33 on Instagram, and you can just find some great stuff on there. So I did want to go to the questions that had came in and see what you had. So one of them is, do you do any type of personal training for athletes if they're trying to do football or basketball?
Yes, I have had a few clients come in for off-season football, but that has not been like my main thing. My main thing is just the typical average Joe, or actually, but more recent. At first in New York, it was just like your finance guy or whatever, going to work the 9-to-5 grind. But now in LA, I've been can't speak. I've been training a lot more of the social media influencers, and everything really matters down to the detail, where it's kind of like bodybuilding. It's not as it's not so much functional training such as sports, but it's all about aesthetics and getting the right proportions, symmetry, because they're constantly under the camera. The camera's always on them, and they have the pressure on them 24/7 to look amazing. So that's what I've been working with the most in LA, but I would like to start training more athletes. I have a friend named Alex Fine, and he trains a lot of these NFL guys, NBA players. And I think I would love to train a few like NFL guys, and then as well get into the movies and training for like the Warner Brothers studios over there. That's the goal now.
And somebody asked, what classes or certifications or things do you need to do to become a personal trainer?
There's a few different ones. You could go ACE certification, ISSA is another good reputable one as well. There's a few more if you want to become a trainer for specifically athletes and go that direction. Also, yeah, but I didn't really go that route. CrossFit has a ton of certifications now too. So if you want to go that route, that's another one. For me, I did the ISSA, which was I don't know, it's just something that I was interested in and tackled it early on.
It's awesome. And then, this is a question for you. What do you do outside your work? I know you put a lot of hours into, working out and doing the training and doing social media, but what do you do for fun?
That's a great question. It's funny. Last night we went to a friend's and I was like so tired just because of being in here. And I was like, Tracy, we need to get back and watch some like Yellowstone. That's what I've been doing recently, watching Yellowstone. Have you seen that show at all, Zach?
I have not, but I've heard a lot of good things about it.
You got to get into that. Also, Queen of the South I was watching, but I like just being outdoors. My dad's like a big outdoorsman guy, so I like to mountain bike, hike. I love trucks. I'm always looking at trucks nonstop online. I have a 1970 GMC Jimmy that I'm working on. My family out in Tennessee, Dwight, he actually works on old cars and stuff. He's an inspiration to me, and he has like the most incredible muscle cars. So I mean, I've always been obsessed with trucks, and my grandfather gave me a Chevy Avalanche when I was growing up. It was like the beach truck in Hawaii, and then when he passed away, he sent it to California, and it was like the love of my life. I love GMC Chevrolet trucks. What else do I do? It's so funny how simple my life is. Now that you ask me this, I feel like it's like work out, eat, and just
work
enjoy that. Yeah, work out again. Like, it sounds so stupid, but no, life is great. What about you? What are you doing out in Georgia? What's some good stuff to do out there?
Yeah. So, since the coronavirus, it's kind of changed. Like you said, I think the city environment's kind of lost this luster where the more nature stuff has kind of taken over, going to parks or hiking or stuff like that. There was more stuff to do out in the rural areas than there is in the city. So I've been trying to get out and travel to some of the parks in the area. The last trip I went on, I got to go up to Yellowstone for a couple of days and really enjoyed that.
Oh, that's awesome.
You were talking about the show. I thought you meant the park at first.
You're doing the real deal. I feel like you and me are similar because our careers are so intertwined with the life that we live outside of the careers as well. So I hang out with a lot of my clients outside of the gym, whether it's like going to dinners or this and that. And I feel like you are able to talk to people constantly, whether it's just going in everyday life or you're doing a podcast or a TED talk or whatever you're doing. I feel like your career and your other life, they're very intertwined. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Erik, thank you so much for joining the show. My audience really did appreciate it. Guys, if you're out there, remember again, go follow Erik Anderson 33 on Instagram. Keep up with him. He's doing big things. Erik, thank you so much.